guys, I'm going to start doing more of these. What I'm going to do now is I won't be able to see you here because I can't see the phone. I should switch it around really. But I think I've got it sort of locked onto here, so and I think that's okay without the light. Basically, I've got a set of scales for my camp and field. I want to show you how to prep them. Basically, the first thing I do with these, there's a couple of things really. This might help some people. I mean, these now are really flat, right up to the edges there and all. I know when I first started out, I used to tend to round these edges out for some reason. To get things really flat's an art, I'll tell you. But they're really flat now. Nearly sticking. Nearly. Sometimes you can key them like that and they'll stick together, but they have to be really flat to do that. I've done the video on it, so let me just check to see if it's still okay. Right, so there's a couple of ways of going about it. Let's bring you okay, there's a surface plate method which I use an awful lot, but some scales I find don't really work with that really well. And you basically, this is the outside, it's the right, so I can do it. You put it on, and you go back and forth until you get it really flat, or a piece of lapping plate glass. I tried that with these, that's why it's there, and I couldn't get them to get flat enough, as flat as I wanted them. Okay, so what I do then is I go to the surface grinder, because obviously I've flattened my platen off. He's probably doing it again soon, but I take a brand new fresh belt. And that always gets me my scales really flat. That's if your platen's really flat. Obviously, if this is dished or a mess, then you stick with the hand method. Sometimes I can't get it flat enough with that method. And with a brand new belt on, 2 minutes on the platen, put it on, bosher, done, put it on, a little figure of 8 on there, bosher, done, flat as a pancake. Now if you use a worn belt, you're going to be chasing to get them flatter, and you'll end up with no scales. If you use something like this, a worn, even though it feels kind of good and it'll still be okay, it won't do it. You need a new belt to be able to do it that way, otherwise you're gonna, this is why I wanted to do this, otherwise you're gonna end up in a right mess and it ain't gonna do you any good at all. So okay, liner material, we always have a look. These are screaming for red. Black, yes maybe, but red. These are screaming for red liners for me. Right, so I'll find me some liner material. Okay, I'll look, see if you can focus. What we'll do then is plonk them on. I don't try and save this material, I always leave loads of excess. It stops the epoxy falling on the floor. I mean, it's pennies to buy. Well, if you buy it in, you know, per set of scales, then it might not be, but I buy the sheet, a big sheet, and it works out, it's pennies. So it's neither here or there. I mean, I've got loads of it, so I don't mind so much. But lads who are just starting out, maybe, you know, you got to be a bit more conservative with this stuff. I understand that. This is how I cut the fibre liner, by the way, just a pair of scissors. Sharp pair, mind you, that I sharpen. Okay, we'll thin these down a little. No need to have that much excess. Okay, I always like a good bit of overhang, so when the epoxy seeps out, catches on this, stops it going everywhere all over the place. Plus it helps when it runs out, it seals right to the edge then and all, rather than coming out and Okay, I do save these little bits. They not like that, but sometimes like this I will. They come in handy if you've got to use a spacer for a fire steel, or you know, a lot of the times I'll throw them away, but sometimes I keep them. Right. Okay, let's have a look where we're at. Are we still on there? Yep. Okay. Right, next process is to key the scales. Right, so what I use for this is 40 grit. So tear a piece off, pick the side that are, just have a quick look at these because they're near enough all, 9 times out of 10 my scales are book matched because I have it in block form and I split it down the middle. Okay, so that'll be that side, that'll be that side. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll key this up, just gently, not going mad so you're losing some of the thickness. And then the other way. Okay. And we'll do this one. Yep. Okay, same again. Fresh piece, turn it over. Not too mad, especially around the edges. I'm not going very hard here at all. I'm just basically putting a key in. Okay, same with the other one. All this really helps, but none of this is going to help if your wood's not stabilised and it warps. Right, another fresh bit. You can feel it when it's fresh, it really bites in. Okay. Okay. Next stage. Acetone. Bit of pitching roll. These are going to be pretty beautiful, man. Right, and here. Try and keep them together so you know nothing gets in between them. Same for this side. Fold your thingy over so it's a clean piece. Get that. Okay. Now, what we'll do now is we'll get some epoxy and we'll glue them up. I'll bring you back in a second. Kids, what I call like a kid's glue thing. What happens is as the epoxy dries on it, look, there we go. As the epoxy dries on it, when it dries after, you can just, for some reason it doesn't really stick to this. I don't know why, it just don't. And you can just peel it off so it lasts a long time. I've got 2 or 3 knocking about, so I will. Right, okay, this is the G-Flex epoxy I'm currently using, and I've been sort of happy with. What I like to do is leave it settling the bottom. A little bit more than that. And then I can sort of gauge from that the amount for the next one, because I'll let it sit on top of it once it looks equal. No, because it's a 2-part equal, this epoxy. The other one I use 5:1, I think. Okay, you can probably see. There we go. Now mix this really well. What I'd suggest is people who are storing this epoxy is, in the winter time, I don't keep it down here, I keep it in the house. It really plays havoc with it. It goes, well, it's so thick and gloopy, it's unbelievable. In the summertime this is lovely stuff, but in the winter time it goes really thick, and it's not ideal. You can't mix it properly, in my opinion, when it's like that. But in the summertime, when it's all nice like that and it just runs out the bottles, it's great. As soon as I get an inkling that this stuff's not right, I'll just throw it away and I'll buy more. I might continue with showing me putting this on the knife, and then maybe shaping the handle, I don't know yet. I'm definitely going to start doing some more while I'm down here sometimes. Some more knife making stuff for people to help them out. By me doing some of this stuff as well, it helps with the questions it helps stop some of it with the emails. You know, I don't mind, but you know, it's really time consuming, you know. So hopefully by me doing some of these processes, I mean there's plenty of others out there, but just like me, you get used to certain people and you'd rather know how they do it, if you know what I mean. And I'm a bit like that myself. I don't do it no different to anybody else really. Okay, then what I like to do is when you put it down on the liner, is I like to really push down, not crazy hard, but it just really sets it up on that liner. Right, I'll take you over in a second. Where did I put that on now? Ah, there you are. Okay. But I won't bring you through the other one because it's exactly the same, but take you over. Okay, what I put on is this is steel under here, and this stuff, Redpath knife and tool put us onto this stuff, and it's a non-stick, it's like an oven thing, I think. I can't remember where he said, but it's really good. When the epoxy does get on it, it's easy just to peel it off, it don't really stick to it. But by overlapping them liners quite a bit, you see what happens? It just stays on the liner and it stops all that happening. And then I'll just take this to the bandsaw after, whip these edges off, just cut the edges off back to a square block, and we're away then for assembly. I hope this helps people out and gives you an insight into how to do these scales. I'm going to get on for the epoxy sets and do the other one. Okay, take care all, bye for now, Lee. Also while I'm here, as you can see, I'll try and use all the same clamp, if possible. You know, like two of these I'd say is equal to one of them in power roughly. I think it just helps, you know, rather than having like really big ones and then really tiny ones, or but more importantly, what I always do as well is I leave this tub with some in. So I'm doing this through the phone. I leave the tub with some in of the same mix. It always stays next to the scales, and then in the morning the first thing I'll do is I'll come in, and the first thing I'll do is I'll stick my finger in there and I'll check that epoxy, and if that's rock hard and set in there, that's rock hard and set on them. It always gives you an indication in there. The ones I come in and it was a little bit soft, and I ripped it all off and I started again. I had to grind back the scales, but you know, you know, if you're not concentrating, or you know, you put too much of the one in than the other, that's a great indication next day to let you know. If I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't know. Okay, take care all, bye for now.